Welcome everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. I've just dropped everything on the table. As you can see, I've been playing this morning. I've just got to grab some bits and pieces. I am really sorry for this, but I didn't realize time had got away with me so quickly. So I'm just trying to find some some soft succulent, and maybe even a little bit of evening evergreen. I'm playing with a product I only just got at the end of the other week, so let me just sit down. I'm so sorry. My name is Michelle, by the way, if you're new. I'm not usually this disorganized, but every now and then I am. Okay. So, welcome. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. And for the last, golly, it must be 2 hours, I've been playing and time just ran away from me. So let me just, oh, golly, let me show you what I'm doing. Hi, Lenny. You're not out for lunch today, or are you back? I'm just all over the place. Just let me pop my downward camera on. Let me make that a solo. Okay. Well, today, I played with this a little bit on last weekend, but just with the dies and created a fun card. But today is the first time I've actually opened the designer series paper up, and it is the first time I've been playing with the stamps. So I don't know what we're doing. To be honest with you, I sort of stopped about what I was doing before, probably about 11:30, and thought to myself, yep, I've got 2 hours to organize myself, get myself ready, pulled everything out, or clean my desk, pulled everything out, started playing, and I always have a movie on my iPad going while I'm playing. Not that I was really watching, it was just going in the background, just to, so I don't feel so lonely on my own. And the next thing I know, I looked it up and it's 1:15. You're back from your lunch. Oh, good. I hope you had something nice for me too. So this is what I'm playing with. This is Fancy Flora. So for the last hour and a half to 2 hours, I've been playing with this a little bit. I've been doing a bit of stamping. I've started to put a bit of a card idea together. Let's see if we can make something work. I don't know yet whether I'm happy with anything that I've done. I'm going to show you how this stamp set stamps really easily. And we're going to have a little bit of a play. So I'll show you what I've done. So I was having a look through all the beautiful designer series paper. Now let me just quickly show that to you. So you've got two sides of this paper. You've got that side, that one, you've got this one here, and that one. So you've got quite a few. There's a lot of colours in this, really. I love these. I just love the textures and everything in this paper. It is gorgeous. I did and ah for a long time about getting it, and then decided to get it, but I don't think I'm going to regret it. I really just love the texture of the paint and the heaviness of it. Yes, like that chunky sort of paint look. It's not a smooth. They haven't laid it down smoothly or anything like that. They've really left some texture. Look at that. Look at all those colors. Oh, that would look actually really lovely cut out in the large die that goes in this, and then put a white behind it or something like that. This one here, we got a couple of different shades of pink with a little bit of probably a Highland heather or something like that brought into it. This one here, you can just see the flowers in this. It's almost watery in flowers. It's gorgeous. And then you've got that one as well. And I've pulled out these two. These are the pieces. So you've got this on this side and you've got that one. And then you've got this one, and you've got that. And I love this, but I'm going to cut it up. I'm sort of, at the moment, considering, not quite sure whether I'm going to work with this piece or with this one. So when you came on, I was just pulling out some soft succulent cardstock and some evening evergreen. I may even add, I might get some Calypso coral, or I might have enough of that in my my stamping as yet. But these colors just look magnificent. It's your favorite, Linny? Yeah, I think it's, I said I ummed and ahed, but I'm really loving it. But what I wanted to show you first was how easy this is to stamp. Now I've already started stamping, but I'm going to grab another piece of cardstock here. So I've just grabbed a piece here, and I'm going to work on one of the bigger flowers. I'll just use this one just to pick this one up. Now, everything I've seen, the videos and everything I've seen, say to stamp the, let me just move all of that out of my road, the image with the more detail in it. Now, I'm just trying to have a look to see if I can find, I think that one goes with that one. And let me just pop it onto a block. I think I might need to buy more blocks. I don't have enough blocks here. Okay, so they're the two that go together. So one has got a lot of detail. I don't know whether you can see that or not, whether it might be easier on that. And one of them has got a little bit less detail. Now, it is a photopolymer stamp, so you do need to use your foam mat. So I've just got that. I'm going to pop that underneath. And as I said, a lot of the videos I've seen said to stamp this one first. So I thought I'd try it, and it does work. It actually works a lot better. So I'm going to stamp this one first, and I'm using full strength Calypso coral. I think it's Calypso coral. Let me just double check. Yep, I've got Calypso coral there. And I'm just going to stamp that on full strength, leaving some room around the outside edge. Now I'm just holding that on for a few seconds, just to let that ink absorb. Let me just move that again. Sorry. Just now I'm going to grab my other stamp, which is going to give us the shape of the flower. And I've got a bit of scratch paper here to the side, because I'm also going to stamp this up also in the Calypso coral. But I'm going to stamp this off because I want a lighter shade of it. Now, can you see on here, you've got like little, I don't know, half moon, but a little sort of like a, I know, it's almost like a kidney shape. I'm using that, and I've noticed that most of the stamps have got something in the center. And I'm finding that if you line up that centerpiece, it makes it a lot easier to line up your stamps. So if I look at this one here, okay, let's just stamp this off here. You can restamp it again in a minute. But see how you've got that shape there, and that corresponds with that shape there. So I'm going to ink this up again. I'm going to stamp it off, and I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to match up that little piece in the middle. It's the center of my flower. Now, you do also need to look on the outside edge, and being a photopolymer stamp, you can see through it, so you can see where you're lining up. But I'm actually more matching up that center of my stamp. Hi, Julie. How are you? And that will give me that beautiful image there. And then, of course, with this bundle, you've got all your dies to cut it out. So working out which die it is, and you just have to turn these around until you get to the right spot, and that's it there. Then you can cut that out. Now, I've already done a lot of that. A lot of the other pieces that I've done, and they are here somewhere. I've done this one, which is the one we're looking at now. I have done some of the leaves in my basic grey. Here they all are. I'll just threw them over here. I've done a smaller flower there. I've also done some of these leaves in my soft succulent, and I've done some of these leaves in the evening evergreen. And I also stamped off some of these leaves, again in the basic grey, but just stamped it off so I had a lighter shade. And this is just me playing around with, I think that was Highland Heather, and that one was Turn Them All Around, Blushing Bride, I think. But what I want to do is I do want to stamp off one of the smaller flowers. Now, I did start that. So let me just move all these out of the road. So you can see it's fairly easy. It's a two-step stamp, but it is fairly easy to stamp. So just look for those center pieces there and line up them. This one here, you've got this piece here in the center, and there's this one here, which was a little bit harder to line up. I was lining up these little dots in the middle. So that's what you're looking for when you're lining it up. Now, this is the piece I've already stamped. So now I'm just going to find my matching little one that goes with that. Now it's somewhere here. Let me have a look. No, it's not any of those. Let me see. It could be still on my... No, it has to be here somewhere. Okay, guys, give me a help. It's not that one. It's not that one. Don't you love it when you can't find something, especially when you've been in a little bit of a tipsy-turvy. Look, it's right here in front of me. There you go. I wasn't looking. I had having a boy look. Who has boy looks? My husband's terrible for having boy looks, so we won't tell him I had a boy look. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at matching up that little piece just there, and if I look on my stamp, I've got a little bit that is the same shape in the middle, and hopefully I've left enough room around, and I'm going to stamp that little flower just there. Or I might redo him because I really haven't left enough room. So let's just bring this back in. Let's grab that small piece again, and we're going to have another go. Just grabbing a block. Did say I need more blocks, didn't I? Okay. So there's that piece there. So I'm going to redo that one, stamp it off so we've got a lighter shade. Again, as I said, matching up that centerpiece just there. Also just keeping an eye on those other little bits around the edges. Let's see if we can get a better one this time. We've got more room to cut. And I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to, because I'm going to cut this through my mini cut and emboss. We won't waste that. I'll pop that over to one side and we can use that a bit later on. Now, who saw the video the other day Stampin' Up, talking about the different plates? Well, I've been finding lately I've been having trouble getting my big #1 plate to go through my machine. So I've actually swapped it out for plate #3. It feels very loose, but gee, it cuts beautifully. Okay, now I just need to find the die. Still in my bag over here. I hope you can see this. just going to line this up. So I'm just turning it around until I get to the spot that I like it at. There's a little bit of adhesive on my die. My finger is getting stuck to it. Okay, happy with that. Yeah, Linny, it may have even been on our demonstrator Facebook page. I think it's linked up the top. And it talks about the best way to use your mini cut and emboss. And it was saying, even though they recommend we use plate number 1, if you're feeling it is a bit tight, then to go to one of the other plates. And I've just been having a few issues with mine that I can't even get plate number 1 through. So I think something's actually moved within my machine, but it's working perfectly using plate number 3. So it was quite good. I was very happy with that. Okay, so I'm thinking of doing my base. I'm going to move all of this. So there's that little flower there. Pop that with all the rest of that I've already cut out. Let's just move all of this out of the road. Don't want to lose these bits and pieces. So let me just take all of these and pop them into the bag. So I keep telling myself I've got to clean up as I go, because I get to a mess and I just don't get it done. Now, I've already stamped a sentiment, and I've stamped that in the soft succulent, but I'm sort of tossing up about redoing that and doing it in the evening evergreen. So we're going to play with that a little bit. So I'll pop that to one side, and let's bring in my trimmer. Now, I do like to have tent fold cards. So I'm going to score this first. I'm scoring it 14.9. And by scoring it first, making sure my cutting blade's right out of the road, I'm scoring for 2 cards at once. And I'm going to cut that at 10.5. So that's my card base. I've still got my evening evergreen over there because I'm not really quite sure yet what I'm going to do with that. So let's fold this in half. And there's our card base. And this is the piece I'm sort of thinking about using for my card front. Either that one or this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut both of them, and then we can work out. Now, do I want to have, let's just have a look. That one I want to get that piece. So let's cut this. I'm going to cut it. At full width at 10.5. Just always trim it down, and I'm going to cut it at 14.8. Now, I scored my card base at 14.9, but I find if I just take that 1 millimeter off, I'm not going to have that there folding over the edge of my card. So it's just going to be fitting into that area quite nicely. So that's if I cover that in the full width. Now this one here, don't know whether to cut this. I've got that on 10. So whether I cut it that way or do that way. I think if I use this card base, I want to mat it. So that's why I'm thinking of going at 10. Just going to keep turning these things around. I don't like that darkness, all of that at the top. So it's whether I might go that way and just have a little bit of the dark on one side and have more of the the light at the top. You could go that way and have it all. No, don't like that one. I think I'm going to cut it there. I'm cutting this one down at 10 because I think if I went this one, I would automatically mat it. So it's 10 and 14.4. And I'm going to bring in my evening evergreen. And again, I'm going to score this at my 14.9 and then cut it at 10.5. It also gives me another 2 card bases, but I can cut one of these down at that 14.9, and then I'm going to trim this again down to, I'm actually going to trim this one down to 10 and 14.4, which means then this one here will get trimmed to 9.7. So I'm just taking 3 mil off, and I'm going to take 3 mil off this, which is going to take it at 14.1. It's just a little bit smaller. Okay. Let's have a look and see what we've got here. So this is our 2. So that one there could go onto there. And I do love a matted front. Or if I use this one, I could take it the whole way. So what I'm thinking about at the moment, I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to go for. So it's either that over the whole front of the card, or that, like that. I do like the matting because I think sometimes the matting helps it and makes it pop. Hi, Joan. Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry I was running a bit late. So I'm liking this at the moment. So let's just have a look and see if we're going to add our sentiment. Now, I could restamp this, and I might just do that now. So I've got my piece of cardstock here, and I've got evening evergreen. There. So let's just stamp that. I like that evening evergreen. I think I'm going to like it a bit better than this one, because I think it's just a little bit too lightweight for me. And this was the die I was looking at using, which is the one I could use there. Still considering that one, but let's just bring this in and let's cut this and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to trim this down. I want to leave that flower there because I can stamp the other part onto it and use it for another card. Waste not, want not, as they say. Now, I didn't get, because part of this suite is some ribbon, and I must admit, I didn't buy the ribbon, but I do think the linen thread would go with these colours that we're using if I decide to add some thread or something. So there's our 2 sentiments. I'm definitely liking that one a lot better. You'll miss evening evergreen. Yeah, so will I, Lynn. It was hi Marie. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it was like the new black when it first came out. I must admit, I don't think I've been using it as much lately, but I do like it. And I think it needs that darker color. I think that on there is getting a little bit lost. It looks good, but maybe just not quite. We'll just pop some color around it and see what we think. So I do like the basic grey on those flowers. So I am sort of thinking, because I think that lends itself to the tones of this card. We definitely don't need that one, and we definitely don't need that one. And I'm just going to keep to these flowers here. So let's have a look. Now, originally when I realized what time it was, I was thinking of popping this little one somewhere maybe around here. I'm not 100% certain yet. And this was the one I was thinking of popping there. Now, my only concern with this is I don't want to lose, because I've done these colors here are the Calypso Coral, which is the same as the flowers. If I did it on that one, it's all starting to blend. If I went to this one, now I could also cut this down and put it with that, which would still look really good. If I popped all of that onto there, you can see that my flowers are going to pop out. The other thing you could do with this one is put a layer of vellum. Yeah, vellum, Lynn, underneath it, which would just subdue that color a little bit. And I think I've got my vellum right here. So let's have a look. The desk is getting messier. Let's bring out this trimmer again, and let's trim this. Now, I always cut everything into quarter sheets first, because I think it just gives me a good basis to work on. So that's 10.5 by 14.9. And if we're going to use this, we're going to cut, and I've got this one here at 9.7. I want to cut it a little bit smaller. So there's 9.7 there. So I think if I cut it at 9.5, and of course you could even use a die to cut this down. So 9.5, that's 2 millimeters. That'll be making that at about 13.9. We'll start from there and see if that needs to be trimmed down any further. I like using my increments of 3 or 2 mil. So I go 5, 3, 2. And I think that's just going to be, it needs to be brought down a lot smaller than that. Okay. So I'm going to take this down. I'm going to go 8.5. I'm going to go 8.5, which is taking a centimetre off. And then this way was, I'll take a centimetre off there, so it's going to make it 12.9. I'd rather take this off little bit by little bit, because I can't add it on except for just getting a new sheet and start cutting again. Okay, so let's pop that on there and have a look. That's better. That's 0.5 centimetre smaller all the way around. So then we can pop that onto there. Now we could centralize this and have like the sentiment, and then have these pieces all coming out from that. I'm trying just to work with 3 flowers. Even bring all of this up a little bit. Let's see, what else have I got in here? I do like that colour underneath, more so than just the plain, I think. So let's have a look. So we've got another that going. Doesn't matter if these go outside that vellum. Don't know whether we might need. Let's just have a look and see what that looks like. Or we could bring in a bit of the evening evergreen in there, which is going to tie it all in. With that, I think that's going to look pretty. Okay, so that's our plan. Yeah, so you could do a circle of vellum as well, but I've already got a few curves in the sentiment, and I think it'd have to be a very big circle if you're going to go a circle, because of the size of the sentiment. I'm going to stick with the rectangular one. Okay, so let's see if we can put this together without changing it too much. So here's the front of our cards. I've got my multi-purpose glue here. Now I will post this up on my blog, and I will add all my measurements and everything, and I'll try to do that by the end of this weekend. I've still got a fair bit of sewing to do, so we'll see how we go. And now we're just going to add this piece on. I don't think I'm going to add any linen thread. I think it's just going to be enough like it is. Now, of course, this suite also, I think, came with some other decorative elements, but I didn't purchase that, so may not be adding any bling to this. So quite happy with that. So I'm now going to just work on this piece here. Now, I did a card earlier in the week or last weekend where I had vellum on it, and I've had a few people asking me about how to attach vellum so you don't get the glue showing through. The best way to attach your vellum is you put all your adhesives underneath where your flowers are going to go. What is your base color? I'm using soft succulent. So what's soft succulent and evening evergreen, and then this beautiful designer series paper. Okay, so I'm going to pop the sentiment up on dimensionals, and I'm going to pop this flower here on dimensionals, but I think the rest of it can just get adhered down. So I'm going to lift those off. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You could put your dimensionals on and then tuck these things underneath, which I might do, which means when I put my dimensionals on, I'm only going to put them on across the middle. So I'm going to put, still like to have my 4, but I'm keeping them more through the middle than through the outside edge. And that's just going to give me a bit of a guide when I'm sticking the other bits in. So I'm going to move those out of the road and them. And I'm going to line up my vellum. I'm using my grid paper, and I'm going to adhere this, just using that grid paper as a guide, about there. So with this large flower, I'm just going to put glue in the middle because I want to slip things underneath it. And I'm just going to pop it at an angle, and I have got it going past that edge. And then we just tuck these and just layer them underneath. Now, I don't necessarily put glue all over it because I like to be able to have, whoops, a little bit of lift. Go there. So it just gives it a little bit of lift to your card and a little bit more dimension. And this one here. It's going to go there. Whoops. Let me just bring that back in. I'm just going to pop this on top of this so we can see how we're building this up. I'm going to grab some mini dimensionals to pop on here. Now I just want to work out where I'm going to position this, because I'm going to pop a little bit, I've put a dimensional there, but I'm going to pop some glue just on the edge there of that flower. Just going to spread that out a little bit going in. And you could even just take a little bit of scrap paper there, because I've got that glue going a bit close to the edge and we don't want it oozing. I might just pop another dimensional. Oh, no, I won't, because we've got another leaf to go in there. It's going to go there. Now, I do have some of these in the soft succulent, and if we wanted to, we could even cut these down. Maybe add a little bit of more height in there. Another one here. Now this is why I don't glue it all the way down, because Sometimes you just want to add those just a few extra little bits and pieces, and you need to be able to slip things in underneath. Okay, so now we want to add this, and it's either there or I add it a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep a balance. So if I've got one here, if I add it onto this side, it's making it heavy on this side. So by adding it into underneath here, and I just need that little bit sticking out. It's just balancing that off, bringing that colour into there and balancing that a little bit. So I'm actually quite happy with that. Could, if I wanted to, now this is some linen thread that I had left over from a project the other day, and I've stripped it down just to one piece. I could just wrap a couple of pieces there, grab a glue dot, making sure all those pieces are stuck on that glue dot. And what I'm going to do is actually tear that off there, and I'm going to pop that glue dot on the other side. So I've just sandwiched that in between two glue dots. Grab some tweezers. Or actually, I might use my take a pick tool. I'm sort of thinking, lifting that flower and just tucking that under there. Just going to trim away that little edge. Yeah, you'll never get things back to 100% where you had it before, but at least you've got a bit of an idea. I have gone as far as actually taking a photo of it and then trying to get it back. So I'm going to do the same again with this. Sandwich that in between two glue dots. I'm just going to use that take a pick tool just to push that in. Separate those just to keep it, to make it a little bit interesting. Separate those ones a little bit more, just to give it a little bit of wispiness and just to soften that. Okay, so now I've got that onto my vellum, and I've got on the back of it, I've got all this area here Now, I've already used a lot of dimensionals, so I'm not going to add any more dimensionals, but I am going to put glue. So I'm hiding my glue in behind where I've got all my flowers and leaves stuck on. So I'm just being pretty liberal here. Make sure I've got this up the right way, put that up the right way, and we're going to glue. So even though I said I wasn't going to put the twine on there, or the linen thread on there, I do actually quite like that linen thread on there. Just gives it a nice softness. So continue on with my theme of let's clean up as we go along. Now we need to pop something in the middle. So let me just grab some more white, basic white. Now I've got plenty of it lying around here. Let's put the vellum away. Really good habit to get yourself into. Put things away as you go along. It's something I have to learn. Pop my card out of the way. Cut this at my 14.9, which is quarter sheet. And then I'm going to cut this down. Now I might cut this down a little bit narrow. I'm going to cut this down to 9.7 because I think I'm going to mat this by 14.1. I'm going to grab the other piece of Evening Evergreen and cut this down to 10. By 14.4. And let's stamp a flower on here. Now, I think we might use this particular flower, which is a different one to before, and find the right match to that one. Is it a different one or is that just the same one? That's the same one as I had before. So that one and that one go together. That is, let me just get rid of these leaves. So that is a much bigger one. So again, I'm going to stamp this in full strength and I'm just going to go slightly at an angle. Don't want to have it too close to the edge because we've got that. Just have a look. That's this one that I'm doing. Okay, so that edge there is actually quite close. So I can stamp that actually close to there. That's the matching one for that one. I'm going to stamp that off. As I said, matching those center stamens. And there we go. Beautiful. Now, there's one thing else I want to stamp on here, because we've said this is, I've got don't forget your birthday. Oh, sorry, I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching it out, the celebration. But I want to put happy birthday on there. So where is the one with all my sentiments? Because there is a sentiment here that says happy birthday. To use this block for this one. Just going to give that a bit extra of a clean before I use it, just to make sure that it is nice and clean. Bring in that evening evergreen again. And I'm going to stamp right across bottom portion of that happy birthday. The flower, sorry. Let's hope I got it straight. Not too bad. Now, the only other thing I might do is bring in some soft succulent. And a little leaf. And I'm just going to grab, see if I've got a piece of lightweight scrap paper somewhere. This will do. I'm just going to pop that across there because I just want to stamp that in there, and I just didn't quite. Let's see if I can do this without. All I want to do is just do that little. Oh, that's okay. It's not real great, but it's better than what it was. Let's just do the same here. That's better. So we can just adhere that onto there. So I hope you've all got a wonderful weekend planned. As I said, I've got lots of sewing to get done and probably lots of housework to get done, because I don't think any of that has been done. Well, the housework part's always sewing, always doing alterations. So, but just need to get some washing folded and some washing put away and some carpets vacuumed. That'll be my weekend this weekend. Okay, we're just going to adhere this into the card. Okay, just move that into place. Whoops, that before that glue dries, let's just position that a bit better. That's it. Probably could have dropped it a little bit more, but that's all right. Pop the lid on my glue. Okay. So let me just clear the decks a little bit here. And there's my card for today. So I'm sorry again, I was running a little bit late. So you're going into your sewing after this? Yeah, hemming to do. I've got lots of hemming. I had a gentleman drop off 4 pairs of trousers yesterday for hemming. So I've got that and a jacket to do, and done the 2 dresses. So I've got 4. And I've got another 2. So I've got 6 set pairs of pants to get done, and a shirt and a jacket, all to get done this weekend. So a bit of work keeps me out of trouble, off the streets, as they say. So, but anyway, let's get back to this card. I hope you've enjoyed this card. Look, it's for my first real play with the flower stamps and so forth, and the paper, the designer series paper. It is beautiful. So you can do a lot with this, I think. So have a good weekend. Have a play if you've got it. If you're using this suite, please tag me in whatever that you've got in your post on Facebook, because I love to see it. If you want to tag them onto my pages in Facebook, you're quite welcome to, especially in Keep On Stamping with Michele. And if you haven't joined Keep On Stamping with Michele, please join. It's my VIP group for people that follow me. So I'd love to have you on there. And remember, you can watch this on YouTube or on Facebook. So have a lovely week, and I will see you all next week. Thank you, Mary. You've snuck in there. It's great to have you join us. So have a lovely weekend. I'm not quite sure what our weather is going to be like here. It was very hot yesterday. Feels like it's a little bit cooler, but then I've got everything closed up, so to keep the house cool. So take care, and I will catch up with you all next Friday, and I promise next Friday I won't be running late. Okay, bye for now. Oh, Vicky, good to see you just jump in there.